Hi guys, and welcome to Uncle Scott's Pancast. Got a lot going on in the Pancast today. We're going to start out talking about some All-Clad pans. I put up a review of this All-Clad copper core frying pan last week that provoked a lot of discussion underneath that review as to whether it is worth upgrading to the copper core versus going with something like the D3. A lot of people have opined on that. We're going to go through some of that feedback. Black Friday is coming up. If you've ever heard the phrase a month of Sundays, it seems like we now have a month of Black Fridays. So we're going to go through some supply issues with a couple of companies and see where some of the big sales are going to be going on. We're going to unbox a Wusthof, I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly, 8-inch chef's knife, do a little chopping there, got more viewer feedback and possibly more. Let's get started. Now last week I put up a review of this All-Clad copper core frying pan. This pan cost about $265. All-Clad also makes a D3 frying pan, which is kind of sort of similar, but about half the price. And I posed the question in the video, is the copper core twice as good as the D3 at twice the cost? This really generated a lot of discussion. Lots of people have opined on this. Waktosha73 says he likes his D3 All-Clads, doesn't see any reason to upgrade. On the other end of the spectrum, George Simmel says there is economy in buying it just once. Yes, it's on the high end, but look at the cost over a lifetime of cooking and it doesn't seem to be quite as expensive. So you got people on both ends of the spectrum. And here's where we get into a little bit of opinion. So everybody is really correct in their own opinion about this. But now I've not used the D3 frying pan, but I do have a D3 4-quart saucepan, which I've been very happy with. Very high quality pan. So I do like the D3 line, but when it comes to frying pans, me personally, I kind of like to upgrade a little bit. Now the way I look at it, if we were doing a blind taste test and I took a pack of bacon and I cooked half of it in the D3 and half of it in the copper core, would I really be able to say one piece of bacon is twice as good as the other piece of bacon? Probably not, but that's not all there is to it, is there? Let's look at an example. If I took a nice bottle of wine and poured some in a red Solo cup, Lord knows I went through a few of these in college, and I poured some in a proper wine glass. The way the human brain works, even though it's the same wine, it would taste better in the proper glass. It's not just about molecules hitting taste buds. There's more to it than that. Likewise, on a fancy pan, using an upgraded, fancier pan, there's more to it than just cooking food, applying heat to food. To me, it gets into what I enjoy in life, what I enjoy doing in the kitchen. It makes me happier to cook in an upgraded, fancier frying pan. It just does. Now, the food might be similar to what is produced in the D3. I just like cooking in the fancier stuff. Now, this may be reverse justification, justifying my purchase after the fact, but I think George Simmel did bring up a good point about the expense of these pans over time. If you look at, let's say this All-Clad pan, a good quality All-Clad pan like this, if you take care of it, it should essentially have an indefinite lifespan, but for ease of math, let's say it's going to last 10 years. It costs $120, $130 more than that D3. Now that $120, $130 cost difference, if you look at that over 10 years, they market the D3s as an everyday pan. For essentially $1 or so a month, your everyday can be top end. I kind of like that. That's the way I like to look at things. But it's all opinion. If you are value oriented and just want cooking performance for the money, the D3 probably is the way to go. Everybody's got an opinion. And whether you choose the D3, the D5, the copper core, or any other All-Clad, someone called the Vrifist, probably pronouncing that incorrectly, says he likes using the All-Clad pans really likes the way they look on the stove and really loves bringing those out. So I'm going to agree with that. All-Clad does make really good stuff. Had a pan question from Alex Mendez. He asks, does it make any sense to season a stainless steel pan? I say no. I've seen some videos on the internet where people claim to be seasoning stainless steel pans. I don't really believe it, and they don't get seasoned anywhere like a cast iron or carbon steel. So I say no, don't worry about trying to season your stainless steel pan. Okay, let's talk about Black Friday and holiday sales that may or may not be coming up. You know, I touched base with Andres at Baking Steel. Yes, I'm doing a little bit of name dropping there, and asked him if they had any big Black Friday sales coming up. He says that with the supply chain being crazy this year is unlike many other years. He's doing everything he can to keep everything in stock, so they will actually not be having a big Black Friday sale. So if you remember around here, we did a big review of that number 10 baking steel, carbon steel skillet. We also like the original baking steel, make every pizza at home here on a baking steel. If you were going to be holding out for anything from baking steel, if you're holding out for a Black Friday sale, that will probably not happen. And whatever you want from them, you should get while it's still in stock. Buyer, I talked to them as well. And if you remember last year during Black Friday through the holiday season, those Mineral B professional skillets that we like so much around here, those went in and out of stock several times. They say they should be good to go on everything except the 9.5-inch Mineral B Pros. So if you're looking for one of those, you might want to jump on it if you find it. If you can hold out for a few more days, they say there is a big sale coming up. They told me the details on it. It's going to be pretty sweet, but I can't release that yet. So that's kind of embargoed for the moment. I will, however, blast out another Pancast next week with the details of that Buyer sale and any other great screaming Black Friday deals I find. But make sure you're subscribed to the channel and make sure your notifications are turned on if you want the details on that sale. And yes, that was a plug. Now, you've probably heard me say this before, but all the kitchen gear I review around here, I purchase with my own money. To use a little bit of a business buzzword, that keeps me and you and all of us aligned. We are all aligned together. We are all looking for good deals on great kitchen gear. So if you see some Black Friday deals, if you see some screaming sales, feel free to post those below the video. I'll try and comb through some of those and put some of the best ones in with that blast I'm going to do next week with the Buyer sale and any other Black Friday deals I see. I'm going to be kind of looking for knife blocks, some cutlery. That usually goes on sale Black Friday, and unfortunately also a dishwasher. Does anyone have a good recommendation for a dishwasher? We bought a fancy KitchenAid when we remodeled this kitchen about 5 years ago. It just conked out. So the repairman came out and he is almost like opening a medieval scroll, the things that went wrong with this thing. And he didn't sell new ones, but he said he wouldn't even fix this one. He would just get a new one. So not terribly happy with the fancy KitchenAid. I was thinking about a Bosch. Does anybody have a recommendation on a good dishwasher? I'm about to have to drop $1,000. Eeh. Behind me, you see a bunch of pots and pans. These are out here for another video I'm doing on a 2021 gift ideas for dads who love to cook. Normally, I would do that in December. It seems like Black Friday and holiday sales started in September this year, so I'm going to get that out as soon as possible. Look for that soon. And finally, let's unbox and do a little mini review on this Wusthof Classic Icon Chef's Knife. Now, Wusthof is a great brand name in knives. They make all kinds of knives. Two of their more popular lines are the Classic and the Classic Icon. This one is a Classic Icon. The differences here are that the Icon has a little bit of a shaped handle. Be careful opening these up. As I learned the hard way one time, opening a creamer knife. But I like the balance of the Icon. It kind of balances. There's a little bit of a curve to the handle here, and there's almost, not really, but kind of a little finger groove where you put your index finger, and the knife really kind of balances right there near where you put your finger groove. Now the spine runs down through here, the tang, it runs all the way through the handle, and on a lot of knives, there's just a plastic handle. This is the Victorinox value knife that everybody has a million of after America's Test Kitchen recommended them. But the spine runs all the way through the handle and has kind of a metal butt down here, kind of like a robot. This is a Wusthof Classic Icon chef's knife. It's the 8-inch model. It's made in Germany and has a forged stainless steel blade along with a man-made handle which is attached with 3 rivets. The spine and tang run all the way through the handle and end in a metal butt, which gives a little more weight to the handle than many other blade-heavy knives. The handle is curved and has an almost imperceptible finger groove where your index finger might rest. And indeed, it turns out that this is the balance point for the knife. The curved, shaped handle fits nicely in a bigger hand. This Wusthof has a half bolster, which allows you to sharpen and use more of the entire length of the blade than a full bolstered knife. Here we see using the knife to cut some onions, some potatoes, and some celery. It seems like a well-built, high-quality knife that does a good job at kitchen cutting and slicing tasks, and it gets a thumbs up. Okay, make sure you're subscribed and have your notifications turned on for that next Pancast that has all the Black Friday shopping and deals. Thank you for watching. We'll see you again next time on Uncle Scott's Pancast.